Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Howard Walker, and I'm running for the state Senate seat. It's the 37th district, which runs from Traverse City up to Sault Ste. Marie. It's currently held by Senator Jason Allen. And Senator Allen is term limited, so I'm not running against him. It's going to be an open seat. In the way of thank yous, I want to thank the folks that put this on real quick. Cheryl and Mr. Gilman and Norm, thanks for taking time out of your Saturday to be here, and all of you too. Most of you may know me from serving as your state representative in Grand Traverse County, but I know a lot of folks that are from outside the county. Let me back up a little bit. Moved to Traverse City in 1986 and started a land survey business. We grew to about 12 employees. We depend on the number of crews. We had 8 to 10 employees, and we did all kinds of land survey work. We did boundaries, we did subdivisions, we did roads, we did bridges, and I am a licensed surveyor in the state of Michigan, and so I have a good. I brought that perspective to me down to Lansing. I think it's real important to have a business perspective and somebody down there with common sense. That what I like to say is I've signed a lot more paychecks on the front than I have the back. Okay, we had employees for those 15 years that I own my business. I know what it's like to meet a budget, and I also gained a great deal of experience with the land use issues that are important to this area, and also an understanding of the conflict between the regulations and private property rights. That's one of the big issues I think that we're going through with the growing pains here in the Traverse City area. Back in the late 1990s, I was elected to the school board in Traverse City. I served there for 3 years. We had some real interesting issues to work through. That was a good experience. And then Senator Allen decided he was going to run for the Senate, left the House of Representatives seat open, and I was encouraged to run for that, and I was able to win. I served for 6 years down in Lansing as a state representative for Grand Traverse County. I understand why we're here, and I understand the importance of holding elected officials accountable. I think that is one of the most important things that we do. And in turn, it's important for us as elected officials, and in my role down in Lansing, I'll tell you another thing that I take that I take very seriously, and that is holding our government bureaucrats accountable. Okay? They have just as much influence on our personal lives, if not more so than legislators. I take my role very seriously in holding those government bureaucrats accountable. That's our job, and that's what I want to do in the future.
Time, please.
And speaking of jobs, that's the most important thing. I want to go down to Lansing to work for.
8 minutes to answer some questions. I have some. If you have some, please raise your hand as well. People will be coming around. Same question for all the candidates this afternoon. Has to do with the regulatory takings legislation that might compensate property owners for regulation costs. The same issue that the congressional candidates had.
Thanks, Norm. This is one of the things I touched on before. You know, some of these regulations are in place for a good reason. You know, some of these regulations that are protecting our environment are there for a good reason. They're for the common good, and I know that may not be a popular thing to say here, but these natural resources that we have here are our lifeblood. They're our lifeblood for our agriculture economy. They're our lifeblood for our tourism economy. So there is a place for some regulations that we need. I think when the regulations get to a point where you can't do with your property what the lady was saying before, if you don't have any use for it and they've taken all that value away, then we should consider it a taking. But I have to say that some of the regulations are there for a reason, but the problem in most of these regulations is the administration of it on the executive when they come in and they say this is the wetlands, you can't do anything with your property, that's wrong. When you have alternatives to say, well, how about I'll create 2 acres of wetlands over here, and you let me do something with 1 acre of wetlands over there. It usually costs $20,000 or $30,000 to get to that point to get them to agree to that with lawyers and engineers. It should be easy. We should streamline these processes, and I feel very firm on that.
How do you feel about part-time Michigan legislature?
Another thing, I realize that legislators are a popular cats to kick. We're the ones that have to come back to you folks and answer to you. And like I said, your role is to hold us accountable, and I welcome being held accountable by the citizens if we do that. But, we went to term limits, that kind of, because the legislature was dysfunctional. Now they whack their salary by 10%, okay, that's fine. And then we go to a part-time legislator, and what you're doing is you're neutering the legislature that holds the bureaucrats accountable and holds the governor's office accountable. I would say we can consider going to a part-time legislature if we take care of streamlining the bureaucrats out of things, if we can get our regulations under control so that citizens can function in government and they don't need the legislature to hold those bureaucrats accountable. I know this because I spent half my time on Starling red tape with bureaucrats and Lansing. So I think that we should consider it, but we need to make sure that our bureaucrats are in line and working properly. Otherwise, you may as well call the governor king, and the bureaucrats are going to run the state. You're going to neuter that accountability factor.
What about the financial straits that we're here in the state of Michigan? I think just overall ideas on what we might do to balance the state budget.
Well, first of all, we have to balance the state budget. The object is to balance the state budget without borrowing money or without filling the holes with stimulus money, which is what we did last year, without raising taxes. We don't want to raise taxes. The object is, it's not a budget problem, it's a jobs problem. And what we really need are jobs in the state. And one of the reasons we don't have as many as we do is because Michigan is not an easy place to do business. There's too many regulations. The regulations that are there aren't enforced in a user-friendly way. And what we need to do is make Michigan attractive to job creators. It's not a bad thing to have job creators and businesses doing well in Michigan because they're the ones that provide the job. More jobs means more revenue. More revenue means we can lower taxes. Or maybe we should lower taxes first to make it attractive to do business in Michigan. So my number one goal is to lower taxes for creating jobs and to streamline regulations to make Michigan a job-friendly, job creator-friendly state.